The bridge of the UES Harmony hummed quietly as it moved through the darkness of space. Commander Hyun-woo stood near the main window, watching the alien planet grow larger with each passing moment. Kashreth Prime, the homeworld of the Valthene Dominion. He had dreamed of this moment for 3 years, but not like this. Not with his stomach tight with worry. Behind him, Ambassador Ji-won practiced her speech one more time. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. Hyun-woo had heard the same words 100 times during their journey. Words about peace, words about cooperation, words about friendship between humans and the Valthene. He wanted to believe in those words. He truly did. "Commander, we're receiving their docking coordinates," said Lieutenant Yuna from her station. She was young, barely 27, but she flew the ship better than pilots twice her age. Her fingers moved across the controls with practiced ease. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Take us in slowly. Let's not give them any reason to be nervous." Hyun-woo kept his voice calm and steady. It was a skill he had learned long ago in another life, a life he tried not to think about anymore. Chief Science Officer Minho walked up beside him, carrying a data pad. His face showed concern. "Commander, I need to show you something. It's about the sensor readings we've been collecting." Hyun-woo glanced at the pad. Numbers and charts filled the screen. "What am I looking at?" "Valthene military movements. Over the past 2 months, they've been gathering ships near the border of human space. A lot of ships." Minho zoomed in on a cluster of red dots. "This is 3 times the size of their normal patrol groups. Maybe they're just being cautious. We are unknown visitors in their territory." Minho shook his head. "I've analyzed their formation patterns. This isn't defensive positioning, Commander. This is preparation for an attack." The words hung in the air like poison. Hyun-woo looked back at the planet ahead. The Valthene had seemed interested in talking. They had invited humanity to send representatives. They had promised to listen. Had it all been a lie? "Keep monitoring. Say nothing to the others yet. We're here for peace. Let's give peace every chance we can." The Harmony docked at the orbital station without incident. The Valthene greeting party was small, only 5 of them, but they stood tall and proud. Their skin was a deep purple, covered in ridge patterns that marked their family lines. They wore armor even here, even at a diplomatic meeting. Hyun-woo noticed that detail and filed it away. Ambassador Ji-won led their group down the ramp. She smiled warmly, her hand extended in the human gesture of greeting. The lead Valthene, who had identified himself as Council Speaker Drethak, looked at her hand with what might have been confusion or disgust. He did not take it. "You are the humans," Drethak said. It was not a question. His voice came through the translator device with a strange metallic echo. "Yes, I am Ambassador Ji-won, representing the people of Earth and all human colonies. We come in peace and friendship. We bring gifts of knowledge and offers of trade. We hope to build a lasting relationship between our peoples." Drethak made a sound that the translator did not interpret. "Follow. The council will see you now." The council chamber was massive. Hundreds of Valthene filled the curved seats that rose up on all sides. In the center, on the highest platform, sat Supreme Overlord Krethis. He was larger than the other Valthene, his armor decorated with symbols that probably meant great victories in battle. His eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle on his face, focused on the human delegation with clear interest. Ji-won walked to the center of the floor. Her team stayed back as protocol demanded. Hyun-woo watched from the side, his hands clasped behind his back. He looked calm, but every sense was alert. Yuna stood next to him, her body tense like a coiled spring. Minho kept his eyes on his data pad, still watching those military movements. "Great Supreme Overlord Krethis," Ji-won began, her voice clear and strong. "Thank you for allowing us to speak before your council. Humanity has traveled far to meet you. We have watched your civilization from a distance and seen your strength, your unity, your achievements. We wish to learn from you and share what we have learned with you." She continued for several minutes, outlining everything humanity offered: medical technology that could extend Valthene lives, agricultural techniques that could feed more people, art, music, and literature from Earth's many cultures, clean energy systems, peaceful cooperation in exploring the galaxy together. When she finished, silence filled the chamber. Then Krethis leaned forward. "You offer us things, but what you offer we do not need. The Valthene Dominion is strong. We have conquered 17 star systems. We have crushed 12 species who resisted us. We rule this sector of space." He paused, and his next words came slowly, deliberately. You come here weak and small, offering gifts like frightened children. You have 3 small colonies, 12 ships. Your military is a joke, and you dare to speak to us as equals? Ji-won's face went pale, but she stood straight. Supreme Overlord, we do not seek to be your enemies. Strength does not have to mean conflict. We can both be strong and still be friends. Krethis laughed. It was a harsh, ugly sound. The other Valthine in the chamber joined him. The noise echoed off the walls surrounding the small human group. Friends? We do not need friends. We need subjects. Here is my offer to you, human. The Valthine Dominion will allow your species to continue existing. You will give us control of all your colonies. You will give us your ships. You will serve us. In return, we will not destroy you completely. You have 10 of your cycles to decide. That is all. But Supreme Overlord, please. Ji-won started to speak, but Krethis raised one hand. Silence. This council has spoken. Leave now. The journey back to the Harmony was quiet. Nobody spoke. What was there to say? When they reached the ship, Hyun-woo immediately called his senior officers to the conference room. Options, he asked. We could fight our way out, Yuna suggested. The Harmony has weapons. We could start a war right here? No. Hyun-woo shook his head. Minho, how long do we have before those fleet movements reach human space? Based on their current speed and trajectory? Maybe 6 days. Possibly 7. They're not going to wait 10 cycles, Hyun-woo said. They're going to attack regardless of our answer. This was never about negotiation. Ji-won sat with her head in her hands. I failed. I should have said something different. I should have... No. Hyun-woo's voice was firm but kind. You did everything right. They were never going to listen. Some people only understand one language. What do we do? Asked Yuna. Hyun-woo was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up and walked to the communication console. Get me a direct channel to Earth, all frequencies. Public broadcast. Sir? The communications officer looked confused. Do it now. When the channel opened, Hyun-woo took a deep breath. Behind him, he could feel his crew watching. Ahead of him, through the screen, was home. Earth. All the colonies. Millions of people who had no idea what was coming. This is Commander Hyun-woo of the UES Harmony. I am speaking to all of humanity. Our diplomatic mission has failed. The Valthine Dominion has demanded our complete surrender and is preparing to attack our space. We tried to make peace. We offered friendship. We gave them every chance. He paused and his eyes grew hard. We are trying for peace. Now you will know the other side of humanity. He closed the channel and turned to Yuna. Get us out of here. Maximum speed. We need to get home. Yes, sir. The Harmony turned and accelerated away from Kashreth Prime. Behind them, Valthine patrol ships began to follow. Yuna pushed the engines to their limit and slowly the distance grew. 2 escort ships were not as lucky. The Valthine caught them before they could jump to faster than light speed. The explosions were visible even from far away. Bright flowers of fire that bloomed and died in seconds. Hyun-woo watched them disappear and felt something cold settle in his chest, something he had kept locked away for 20 years. The Valthine wanted war. They thought humans were weak prey. They were about to learn how wrong they were. General Daeho had been retired for 20 years. He lived in a small house in the mountains, far from the cities and the noise. Every morning he made tea and watched the sunrise. Every evening he tended his garden. It was a peaceful life. He had earned that peace. The knock on his door came at midnight. 2 officers in uniform stood on his porch. They looked young, maybe in their 30s. They saluted sharply when he opened the door. General Daeho, sir, we need you to come with us. The president has recalled you to active service. Daeho looked at them for a long moment. Then he looked past them, at the stars visible above the mountains. Somewhere up there, something bad was happening. Something bad enough to wake up an old soldier. Give me 10 minutes to pack. Earth Central Command was chaos when Daeho arrived. Officers ran between rooms carrying datapads and reports. Screens showed maps of human space with red warning markers appearing like spreading disease. The president herself met him at the entrance. General, thank you for coming so quickly. Madam President, what's the situation? She led him to the main command center. The largest screen showed Commander Hyun-woo's broadcast message playing on loop. We are trying for peace. Now you will know the other side of humanity. The Valthine Dominion has rejected all diplomatic contact, the president explained. Our intelligence shows a massive fleet approaching our borders. They'll reach the Proxima colony in less than a week. We estimate they have 300 warships, and we have 47 combat-ready vessels. Most of our fleet is exploratory or transport ships. We haven't fought a real war in 70 years. Deho nodded slowly. The numbers were bad, very bad, but he had worked with worse odds before long ago. I need complete authority over all military operations. I need access to every storage facility, every research station, every sealed project, and I need the smartest people you have. You'll have everything. General, can we win this? Deho looked at the star map again, at the red markers showing enemy ships, at the blue dots showing human colonies small and vulnerable. Madam President, the Valthine think they know what humans are. They're about to get an education. Within hours, Deho had assembled his team. Chief Science Officer Minho arrived from the Harmony, bringing every bit of data they had collected on Valthine technology and tactics. A woman named Somin came from the Mars Engineering Corps. She was tall and thin, with oil stains on her hands that never quite washed away. And there was Yunji, a medical officer who specialized in combat physiology. They gathered in a secure room deep underground. Deho looked at each of them. Everything we discuss here is classified at the highest level. What I'm about to show you has been kept secret since the Unification Wars ended. Most people think we destroyed these things. We didn't. We just hid them away and prayed we'd never need them again. He activated a holographic display. Blueprints appeared in the air. Weapon systems, ship designs, battle armor, chemical formulas. Technologies that made even these experienced officers go pale. My God, Soman whispered. These are monsters. Yes, Deho agreed. We built these monsters to fight each other. Humans fighting humans. When the wars finally ended, when we finally unified, we locked all of this away. We showed the galaxy outdated technology, simple ballistic weapons, chemical rockets. We let them think we were primitive because we wanted to leave that darkness behind. Minho studied the displays with sharp eyes. But you kept them. Just in case. Just in case someone forced our hand. The Valthine think they're attacking a weak species. They're not. They're attacking the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We just chose not to be dangerous anymore. Soman leaned forward, examining one of the weapon blueprints. This is Project Reaper. I've heard rumors about it. They said it could crack a planet's crust. It can do worse than that. But we're not going to use it that way. We're going to use it surgically. Precisely. The Valthine want war, so we'll give them war. But we'll do it our way. Yunji raised her hand slightly. Sir, about combat readiness. Our soldiers haven't seen real combat in decades. The Valthine are experienced warriors. Then we'll train them fast. You're going to develop enhancement programs. Not just physical training, but chemical augmentation. I know you've been researching combat stimulants that can push human reflexes beyond normal limits. Those are experimental. The side effects are acceptable given the alternative. If we lose this war, there won't be any humans left to worry about side effects. Over the next 3 days, Earth transformed. Factories that had built farming equipment retooled to build weapons. Shipyards that constructed passenger vessels began assembling warships from the old designs. Soldiers who had never fired a shot in anger trained 18 hours a day. Minho worked with the intelligence division, hacking into every Valthine communication they could find. What he discovered was both useful and terrifying. They're planning simultaneous strikes on 12 colonies, he reported to Deho. They want to crush us in one massive attack. They've been sharing victory celebrations already. They're treating this like it's already won. Good. Overconfidence is a weakness we can exploit. What do we know about their military doctrine? They rely on overwhelming force and frontal assaults. They have superior numbers and firepower, so they've never needed to be clever. Their ships are tough but slow. Their soldiers are strong but predictable. Deho smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then we'll be unpredictable. What about the commander of their fleet? High Commander Vekshar. Distinguished record. 96 victories. 0 defeats, and he's about to get his first loss. Soman, how soon can we have the stealth systems operational? The first batch of ships will be ready in 2 days. We're coating them with metamaterials that absorb sensor scans. They'll be invisible until they're right on top of the enemy. Excellent. Here's what we're going to do. Deho outlined his plan. It was risky. It was brutal. It required perfect timing and absolute commitment. When he finished, the room was silent. Sir, Minho said carefully, this plan uses our colonies as bait. No, this plan uses our colonies as traps. We're evacuating every civilian from Proxima. From New Sol from all 12 target systems. We're leaving the infrastructure intact, making it look like we're still there. When the Valthene arrive expecting easy prey, they'll find something very different. What if they don't fall for it? They will. They think we're weak. They think we're scared. They have no idea what's waiting in those systems. On the 5th day, Commander Hyunwoo arrived at Earth Central Command. Daeho hadn't seen him in 20 years. The younger man looked tired, haunted by the deaths of his escort ships, but his eyes were still sharp. "General Daeho, sir." Hyunwoo saluted. "Commander, I've read your report. You did everything right up there. This isn't your fault. 2 ships destroyed. Good people dead because I couldn't make the Valthene listen. The Valthene were never going to listen. People like that only understand strength. So we're going to speak their language." Daeho pulled up a tactical display. "I'm giving you command of the Proxima Defense Group. You'll have 30 ships all equipped with the new stealth systems. Your job is to make the Valthene regret ever entering human space." Hyunwoo studied the plan. Slowly, his expression changed. The haunted look faded, replaced by something harder, something that Daeho recognized from their previous war. This is the old Hyunwoo plan, from Meridian Station. Modified for space combat, yes. "Can you do it?" "Yes, sir. But General, if we do this, if we show them what we're really capable of, there's no going back. The peaceful image we've built will be gone, I know. But right now, peace means extinction. We tried their way. Now they'll learn ours." Lieutenant Yuna volunteered for something called the Ghost Pilots Program. When Yoonji explained what it involved, most pilots walked away. The procedure would connect their nervous systems directly to their fighters. They would feel the ship as an extension of their own body. The neural integration was experimental and irreversible. Yuna signed the consent form without hesitation. "You understand you can't undo this?" Yoonji asked. "I understand that my friends died because we weren't ready to fight. I won't let that happen again." The surgery took 6 hours. When Yuna woke up, she could feel the fighter in the hangar 3 floors below. It hummed in her mind like a second heartbeat all across human space. Similar scenes played out. Engineers built weapons they had sworn never to build again. Soldiers prepared for a war they had hoped would never come. Scientists weaponized everything from sound waves to gravity itself. The Valthene fleet continued its approach, confident and unstoppable. High Commander Vekshar reviewed the battle plans with satisfaction. 12 colonies would fall in a single day. The humans would surrender immediately after. It would be glorious. He had no idea that every human ship he detected was a decoy. He couldn't see the real fleet hidden in the shadows waiting. The last transport ship left Proxima Colony carrying the final group of civilians. The city below stood empty, its lights still on, making it look occupied. In the asteroid belt beyond, Commander Hyunwoo watched and waited. "All ships report ready," Yuna said from her cockpit. Her voice sounded different now, harmonized with her ship systems. "Good. Remember, no one fires until they're committed. Let them come deep into the system. Let them feel safe. Then we show them the other side of humanity." High Commander Vekshar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominance, and watched the human colony grow larger on his screens. Proxima, a small world with maybe 3 million humans. It would fall before midday. "All ships report ready, Commander," his tactical officer said. "Excellent. Begin the attack. I want complete destruction of all military facilities. Leave the residential areas intact. We'll need the survivors as workers." The Valthene fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. 300 warships arranged in attack waves, each one bristling with weapons. It was beautiful, overwhelming, unstoppable. Vekshar smiled. The humans had positioned a small defensive fleet in orbit. Maybe 15 ships, pathetic. This would be over quickly. "They're hailing us, Commander." "Ignore them. Fire at will." The Valthene fleet opened fire. Plasma beams and missile barrages lit up space. The human ships exploded one after another. Brief flowers of fire that faded quickly in the void. Within minutes, the orbital defenses were gone. "Too easy," muttered the tactical officer. Vekshar nodded. The humans talked about peace because they had no capacity for war. "Proceed to the planet. Begin bombardment of military targets." That's when the darkness came alive. Every asteroid in the belt suddenly lit up with weapons fire. Every piece of debris that the Valthene had dismissed as space junk opened up with cannons and missiles. The empty space between their ships erupted with enemy fighters that appeared from nowhere. "Where did they come from?" Vekshar shouted. Sensors showed nothing. I don't know, sir. They just appeared. What the Valthine didn't understand was that the human ships had been there all along, coated in metamaterials that made them invisible to sensors. They had floated silently, waiting, while the Valthine flew straight into their trap. Commander Hyunwoo watched from his command ship as the trap closed. All units fire at will. Target their engines first. Disable, don't destroy. I want them stranded and confused. The battle became chaos. Valthine ships built for frontal assaults found themselves taking fire from every direction. Their formation broke apart as captains tried desperately to identify targets they couldn't see, until weapons fire gave away positions. Lieutenant Yuna flew her fighter through the confusion like a ghost. With her neural link, she didn't need to think about controls. The ship responded to her thoughts, performing maneuvers that violated what the Valthine understood about physics. She dove between two Valthine cruisers, firing as she went, then rolled vertical and accelerated away before their defensive weapons could track her. "This isn't possible," she heard one Valthine captain say over the open channel. "How are they moving like that?" She targeted his ship's engine and fired. The cruiser went dark, drifting helplessly. "Maybe you should have asked before attacking," she whispered. Minho monitored the battle from Earth Command, watching data streams flow across his screens. "General, they're trying to retreat." "Don't let them," Daiho ordered. "I want them pinned in that system. Let word spread through their fleet about what happened here." "Copy that." Activating gravity wells. Hidden stations around Proxima activated, generating artificial gravity fields that prevented faster-than-light travel. The Valthine were trapped, unable to escape, unable to win. High Commander Vekshar watched in horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled. A third of his ships were disabled. Another third were destroyed. The rest were taking heavy damage. This was impossible. The intelligence report said humans were weak, primitive, easy prey. "All ships retreat. Emergency jump now." "Sir, we can't. Something's blocking our jump drives." "Then fight." "Destroy these humans." But the Valthine ships were designed for straightforward combat, and this was anything but straightforward. The humans appeared and disappeared like ghosts. They struck from impossible angles. They knew exactly where to hit to cause maximum damage with minimum effort. On the colony world Bethel, a different kind of battle was unfolding. A Valthine landing force had reached the surface expecting to find frightened civilians. Instead, they found Captain Hana and her unit. Hana had served in the Unification Wars. She was 50 years old and had seen combat that would break younger soldiers. When the order came to defend Bethel, she hadn't hesitated. The Valthine soldiers were larger than humans, stronger and more heavily armored. They advanced on the colony's main settlement with confidence. Then the ground exploded beneath them. Hana had placed mines everywhere. The streets, the buildings, even the park benches were rigged with explosives. As the Valthine recovered from the initial blast, human soldiers appeared on rooftops and windows behind barricades. They fought with a ferocity that shocked the aliens. A Valthine squad leader shot one human soldier 3 times. The human fell, then got back up and kept fighting, blood streaming from his wounds. How was that possible? What the Valthine didn't know was that the humans were using Yunji's combat stimulants, chemicals that suppressed pain, enhanced reflexes, and pushed the human body far beyond its normal limits. The soldiers would pay for it later with exhaustion and medical treatment, but right now they were nearly unstoppable. "Fall back," the Valthine squad leader ordered. "These humans fight like demons." Captain Hana's voice came over their communications, somehow having hacked their frequency. "You came to our home. You threatened our families. What did you expect?" Back in space, the Battle of Proxima was ending. Of the 300 Valthine ships that had entered the system, less than 50 remained combat-capable. The rest were destroyed or disabled, drifting in the void. Commander Hyunwoo opened a channel to the Eternal Dominance. "Hi, Commander Vekshar. This is Commander Hyunwoo of the United Earth Defense Force. You came here expecting easy prey. Instead, you found predators. Surrender your remaining ships and we will spare your crews. Continue fighting and we will destroy you." Vekshar's face appeared on the screen, his 3 eyes wide with shock. "This is not possible. Our intelligence said, your intelligence was based on what we chose to show you. We showed you peace because we preferred peace. You mistook that preference for inability. That was your mistake. You tricked us." "No, we tried to be friends." You chose war. War is something humans are very, very good at. Vekshar looked around his ruined bridge. Good soldiers were dead or injured. His proud fleet was in pieces, and the humans had done all of this while somehow appearing inferior in every way. I surrender, he said quietly. Wise choice. Similar scenes played out across all 12 target systems. The Valthine simultaneous assault became a simultaneous disaster. Every attack group found the same trap waiting. Every confident commander watched their fleet get torn apart by an enemy that shouldn't have been able to fight back. In one system, a Valthine captain recorded a message before his ship was destroyed. Command, the humans are not what we thought. They fight with coordination we cannot match. They use tactics we don't understand. They turn our strengths into weaknesses. This is not a weak species. This is the message cut off. On Earth, General Deho watched reports flow in from all fronts. Every target system secured. Valthine casualties heavy. Human casualties minimal. The plan had worked better than he had hoped. General, we're receiving messages from 3 species under Valthine control, Minho reported. They're asking if the reports are true. If humans really defeated the Valthine fleet, tell them yes. Tell them humanity stands against tyranny wherever we find it. Sir, this could start a wider war. The Valthine Dominion still has 2/3 of their military intact. I know, but we've made our point. They thought we were sheep. Now they know we're wolves. Deho pulled up a strategic map showing Valthine territory. The question is, what do they do next? In the Valthine capital, Supreme Overlord Krethis received the reports with growing rage. 12 attack groups destroyed, thousands of soldiers dead, High Commander Vekshar captured and humiliated, and worst of all, subject species were starting to question Valthine's strength. This is unacceptable. Krethis slammed his fist on his throne. The humans use deception and cowardice. They are honorless. His chief advisor spoke carefully. My overlord, perhaps we should reconsider our approach. The humans have proven more capable than we thought. No, we will crush them completely. Prepare the main fleet. We will strike at Earth itself and burn their homeworld to ash. But overlord, if we commit our main fleet and fail, we will not fail. The Valthine Dominion has never been defeated in open battle. Gather every ship. Call in our subject species forces. I want a fleet so large that the humans cannot possibly win. The order went out. The Valthine were mobilizing for total war. On Earth, Hyunwoo stood in the command center with Daiho, Minho, Soman, and Yunji. They watched the intelligence reports showing massive Valthine fleet movements. They're not backing down, Minho said. They're escalating. We hurt their pride, Daiho said. Now they need to prove themselves. This is about to get much worse. Hyunwoo looked at the star map, at all the red markers showing enemy ships gathering. So many ships, more than the entire human fleet combined. Can we win against those numbers? Daiho was quiet for a long moment. Winning isn't just about numbers. It's about will, about determination, about being willing to pay the price for victory. The Valthine still think this is a game, a matter of pride. For us, it's survival. Operation Reckoning began at dawn. 60 human warships equipped with captured Valthine jump gate technology, prepared to strike deep into enemy territory. Commander Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Righteous Fury, and watched his crew make final preparations. Lieutenant Yuna ran through her pre-flight checks. With her neural link, she could feel every system in her fighter humming with readiness. Around her, 20 other ghost pilots did the same. They would be the first wave, the spear point that cleared the way for the larger ships. All ships report ready, Commander, reported the tactical officer. Good. Remember, we're not conquerors. We're not the Valthine. Every target we hit is military only. If there are civilian areas, we avoid them. If the Valthine try to use civilians as shields, we find another way. We're not fighting to be monsters. We're fighting so we don't have to fight anymore. The words felt heavy in his mouth. Hyunwoo wondered if he believed them himself anymore. He had seen too much death, caused too much destruction, but he had to believe there was still a line they wouldn't cross. Had to believe humans were better than their enemies. The fleet jumped. The first target was Keshra 7, a Valthine industrial world that produced most of their weapons. It was heavily defended with orbital platforms and a garrison fleet. Intelligence said it would be nearly impossible to attack successfully. Intelligence was wrong. The human fleet arrived in scattered formation, designed to look disorganized and desperate. The Valthine defense coordinator actually laughed when he saw them on his sensors. They're making this easy. All platforms open fire. Destroy them quickly. The orbital platforms opened up with everything they had, but the human ships scattered like startled fish, moving in patterns that seemed random but were carefully calculated. The platform's targeting systems couldn't track them effectively. Then Yuna and her ghost pilots arrived from a different vector, moving too fast for the defense systems to lock on. They dove between the platforms, firing precision strikes at power relays and weapons control. Within minutes, half the orbital defenses were offline. "What is happening?" the defense coordinator shouted. "How are they doing this?" A specialist named Jiho was part of the boarding teams. His job was demolition, taking apart things that were built to last. When his team reached the main weapons factory on Keshra 7, he moved through it like a surgeon, placing charges with perfect precision. "This is wrong," one of his team members said, looking at the factory floor. "There are civilians working here." Jiho nodded. "I see them. Which is why we're not blowing up the factory. We're blowing up the machines. Just the machines." He reprogrammed each charge, adjusting timers and blast patterns. It took longer, much longer than a simple demolition would. But when the charges went off, the machinery exploded while the factory walls held. The civilians had time to evacuate. The weapons production stopped. Commander Hyunwoo broadcast a message to the planet. "People of Keshra 7, this is Commander Hyunwoo of Earth. We gave you 2 hours to evacuate all military facilities. You chose to keep civilians inside, thinking we wouldn't attack. You were wrong about our willingness to fight. But you were right that we won't murder innocents. Your military infrastructure is destroyed. Your people are safe. Think about which side really values life." The message spread through Valthene networks faster than their military could suppress it. Worlds under Valthene control heard about humans who fought fiercely but spared civilians, who destroyed military targets with surgical precision, who were nothing like the Valthene themselves. On Earth, Ambassador Jiwon worked in her new role as psychological operations officer. She felt strange doing this, using words as weapons instead of bridges. But if it saved lives, if it shortened the war, then it was necessary. She broadcast footage of Valthene defeats. She shared recordings of Valthene commanders expressing shock and fear. She made sure every subject species under Valthene control could see that the seemingly invincible Dominion was losing. "Is this right?" she asked General Daeho one night. "Using propaganda, manipulating information? Is it any worse than the lies the Valthene told their subjects?" Daeho replied, "You're not making things up. You're just making sure the truth spreads. Sometimes the truth is the best weapon. I wanted to bring species together through understanding. Now I'm driving them apart through war. No. You're showing oppressed species that they don't have to stay oppressed. That's not driving them apart. That's giving them hope." 3 subject species under Valthene control started rebellions within a week. The Valthene suddenly had to fight wars on multiple fronts. Resources that should have gone to fighting humans went to suppressing revolts instead. Supreme Overlord Krethis executed his defense coordinator for the failure at Keshra 7. He executed 3 more commanders for losing battles. He executed a governor for letting rebellion start on his world. Fear and paranoia spread through Valthene leadership. "The humans are making us look weak," Krethis raged. "We need a decisive victory. Something so overwhelming that no one will ever question Valthene's strength again." His new military commander, a brutal officer named Reshkil, stepped forward. "My overlord, I have a plan. But it requires using weapons we have kept in reserve. Weapons we swore never to use." "What weapons?" "Antimatter bombs. We can sterilize entire planets. If we use them against human colonies, the humans will surrender immediately. But we would kill billions, even our own subject species on those worlds. Necessary sacrifice for victory, my overlord." Krethis was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Do it. Prepare the weapons. Target the human colony of New Sol. If we destroy it, we show humanity the price of defying us." The order was encrypted and sent through secure channels. But Minho and his intelligence team were very good at breaking encryption. Within an hour, Earth Command knew about the antimatter bombs. "How long do we have?" Daeho asked. 3 days, maybe 4. The bombs are being moved to launch platforms in the Keshra system. Can we evacuate New Sol in that time? Maybe. But General, even if we save the people, losing the colony would be a huge blow. New Sol is our 2nd largest settlement. It's symbolic. Daeho looked at the star maps, at the vast distance between Earth and Keshra. Then we don't evacuate. We stop the bombs from launching. Sir, that would require striking deep into heavily defended Valthene territory. The casualty rate would be, I know, but if those bombs launch, millions die. We have to try. Commander Hyunwoo volunteered to lead the mission immediately. I know Keshra system. We just attacked it. I know their defenses, their response patterns. Give me a strike team and I'll destroy those bombs. This is likely a one-way trip, Daeho said quietly. I know, but if I don't go, New Seoul burns. That's not a choice at all. Lieutenant Yuna volunteered next. Then Jiho. Then 30 more soldiers, each knowing they probably wouldn't return. They gathered in the briefing room and Hyunwoo looked at each face. So young, so brave, so ready to die to save others. Here's the situation, he began. The Valthine have antimatter bombs targeting New Seoul. If those bombs launch, everyone we know on that colony dies. Our mission is to infiltrate Keshra system, reach the launch platforms, and destroy those bombs. Intelligence gives us a 30% chance of success and a 5% chance of survival. No one left the room. The plan is simple. We go in fast and quiet using stealth ships. Yuna's fighter group provides distraction. Jiho's demolition team takes out the bombs. I lead the boarding team to secure the platform. We complete the mission and extract if possible. If not possible, we complete the mission anyway. They spent 2 days planning every detail, every backup plan, every contingency. Yoonji provided each soldier with the strongest combat stimulants available. These will keep you going far past normal human limits, she warned. But the crash afterward will be severe. Your body will shut down for days. Will we live through the crash? Someone asked. If you make it back, yes. If you don't, it won't matter on Earth. President Chaewon held an emergency meeting with her cabinet. General Daeho, the council is concerned. We've pushed deep into Valthine territory. We've made them desperate. Some members think we should accept a peace offer if they make one. They won't make a genuine peace offer, Daeho replied. They'll offer surrender terms that are slightly better than extermination. The Valthine only respects strength. If we show weakness now, we lose everything. But at what cost? How many more people have to die? Far fewer than if we stop now and let them rebuild. Madam President, I fought in the unification wars. I know what happens when you let a wounded enemy recover. They come back stronger and angrier. We need to finish this, Admiral Nari, commander of the Home Fleet, agreed. The President is right to be concerned about casualties. But the General is right about the strategic situation. If we can destroy these antimatter bombs, we prove the Valthine can't threaten our core worlds. It breaks their will to fight, Jiwon spoke up. What about negotiations? Surely after all these defeats, the Valthine would be willing to talk. They see negotiation as weakness, Daeho said. We tried that approach already. It only works after you've proven you can destroy them completely. We're not there yet. The strike team launched at midnight. 32 soldiers and 5 stealth ships heading deep into enemy territory with almost no chance of coming back. The stealth ships drifted through Keshra system like shadows. Commander Hyunwoo watched the sensor display, tracking Valthine patrol patterns. They had been moving silently for 6 hours, getting closer to the launch platforms where the antimatter bombs waited. Contact in 5 minutes, whispered the pilot. Hyunwoo activated the team channel. Final check. Yuna status? Ghost Squadron ready. We see the platforms. Heavy defense. We can draw them off, Jiho. Demo team ready, sir. We brought enough explosives to crack a moon. These bombs won't be a problem. Good, remember, we get one shot at this. Once we're detected, the whole system comes down on us. Make it count. The ship separated. Yuna's fighters peeled off toward the far side of the platform, still invisible to sensors. Hyunwoo's boarding craft moved into position. Jiho's demolition team prepared to dock. Everything happened at once. Yuna's squadron dropped their stealth and opened fire on Valthine patrol ships. The explosions lit up space like fireworks. Alarms blared across every Valthine vessel. Defense platforms swiveled toward the sudden threat. While they were distracted, Hyunwoo's team hit the launch platform from the opposite side. They breached the hull and poured inside. Valthine soldiers rushed to stop them, but the humans moved like they were possessed. Yoonji's combat stimulants made them faster, stronger, almost unable to feel pain. A Valthine soldier shot Hyunwoo twice in the chest. His armor absorbed most of it, but the impact should have dropped him. Instead, he kept moving, returning fire with perfect accuracy. The Valthine went down. Hyunwoo kept advancing. Jiho's team reached the bomb storage area. The antimatter devices were massive, each one capable of destroying a planet. They were also heavily guarded and booby-trapped. We need 10 minutes to disarm these safely, one of Jiho's technicians said. We don't have 10 minutes, Jiho replied. We do this fast or everyone on New Sol dies. Start cutting through the casings. Outside, Yuna fought the battle of her life. Her neural link let her control her fighter with pure thought. But even that advantage wasn't enough against the sheer number of enemies. 6 Valthine interceptors pursued her through the debris field. She dove between 2 destroyed ships, rolled inverted, and fired backward without looking. Her connection to the fighter meant she could feel where the enemies were, almost like seeing through the back of her head. 2 interceptors exploded. The others broke off, regrouping. "This is Ghost Leader to all units," she transmitted, holding them off but taking damage. "Hull integrity at 40%. "Copy that, Ghost Leader," Hyunwoo replied from inside the platform. "We're almost done." 2 more minutes, but then the bomb's defense system activated, a Valthine failsafe that Minho's intelligence hadn't known about. The bombs began their launch sequence automatically when tampering was detected. "No," Jiho shouted. "We're out of time!" "If these launch now, we can't stop them." Hyunwoo made a decision that would haunt him forever. "Can you overload them? Make them detonate here instead of at New Sol?" Jiho understood immediately what that meant. If the antimatter detonated in this system, everyone in it died, including the strike team, including Yuna, including all the Valthine soldiers who were just following orders. "Yes," Jiho said quietly. "I can do that. Then do it. Better we die here than millions die at New Sol." "Sir, there are Valthine civilian ships in this system. Supply transports, medical vessels." Hyunwoo closed his eyes. This was the line. This was the moment when they became like their enemies. But what choice did they have? Then Minho's voice came through from Earth Command. "Wait, I found a way to disable the launch sequence remotely. I'm uploading the code now. Don't detonate those bombs." 30 seconds felt like 30 years. The launch countdown continued. Minho's code transferred. Jiho's hands moved across the bomb controls faster than thought. 5 seconds. 4. 3. The countdown stopped. Jiho collapsed against the bomb, his whole body shaking. "It's done. They're disabled." Hyunwoo felt like his heart would explode with relief. "All teams extract now. Yuna, we're coming out. Cover our exit," but Yuna's fighter was dying. The hull breach warning screamed in her mind through the neural link. She had taken too much damage holding off the Valthine. Her engines were failing. Life support was gone. "Commander, my ship's not going to make it. Jump drive is dead. Then eject. We'll pick you up. No time." "They're launching another wave. 20 ships incoming. If I don't hold them off, they'll destroy the boarding craft before you can escape." "Lieutenant, that's an order." "Eject now." Yuna looked at the incoming ships, looked at her ruined fighter, looked at the boarding craft where her friends, her family were trying to get away. She thought about peace, about the future humans were fighting for, about the cost of making sure that future existed. "Sorry, Commander. I'm a ghost pilot. That means I don't leave my ship." She aimed her dying fighter at the incoming wave and pushed the engines to maximum. The neural link let her feel everything as the ship came apart around her, metal screaming. Systems failing, her own body failing with it. But she reached the Valthine wave. Her last missiles launched, her last shots fired, and then her fighter exploded, taking 3 Valthine interceptors with it. The rest of the wave scattered, giving Hyunwoo's team the seconds they needed to escape. On Earth, Yoonji watched Yuna's vital signs flatline. She closed her eyes and added another name to the list of people who had died to keep others alive. The boarding craft jumped away from Keshra's system. Behind them, the Valthine scrambled to understand what had happened. Their bombs were disabled. Their defenses had been breached, and the humans had escaped again like ghosts. But Hyunwoo felt no victory. Yuna was gone. Others had died too. Each time they succeeded, the cost grew higher. How much more could they pay? Back on Earth, Minho presented the intelligence about the Valthine doomsday weapon to General Daeho and President Chaewon. "It's on Kashreth Prime," Minho explained. "Their homeworld, the most defended planet in their territory. They call it the Starbreaker. Once activated, it sends a pulse that causes stars to go supernova. They could destroy our sun without ever sending a ship to Earth. How do we stop it?" Chaewon asked. "We assault their homeworld. Disable the weapon before they finish it." "That's insane. The casualties would be enormous. Not as enormous as everyone on Earth dying when our sun explodes." Daeho studied the data. "It can be done, but it will take everything we have. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon, and even then, success isn't guaranteed." "What about negotiations?" Chaewon asked again. Surely now, after all their defeats, the Valthine would be willing to talk peace. They're building a weapon to destroy stars, Deho replied. Does that sound like they want peace? Ji-won had been quiet during the briefing. Now she spoke. I agree with the general, but I think we need to try one more time to offer peace. Not because they'll accept. Because we need to show the galaxy that we exhausted every option. That when we strike Kashreth Prime, it's because there was no other way. A formality, Nari said dismissively. No. A necessity. If we attack their homeworld without one final offer of peace, we become the aggressors. We become what they said we were. Deho nodded slowly. The ambassador is right. We broadcast one final message. We lay out terms for peace that are fair and reasonable. When they reject it, the galaxy will know we had no choice. The message was prepared carefully. Ambassador Ji-won wrote it herself. Every word chosen to show humanity's genuine desire for peace. It offered to return conquered Valthine territory. It offered to help rebuild damaged worlds. It offered friendship and cooperation. It was broadcast on every frequency to Kashreth Prime. Supreme Overlord Krethys heard it and laughed. The humans beg for mercy. They know they cannot win. Ignore their pathetic message. Finish the Starbreaker. We end this war in one stroke. But other Valthine heard the message too. Soldiers who were tired of fighting. Civilians who had lost homes and families. Subject species who saw humans offering the kind of peace the Valthine had never shown them. Dissent began to spread. Small at first, just whispers, but whispers grow into shouts. Commander Hyun-woo prepared for the assault on Kashreth Prime. He assembled a strike team of volunteers, 30 soldiers who knew this might be their last mission. Specialist Jiho was among them, quiet and determined. So were others who had fought since the beginning. Sir, one young soldier asked, what happens if we fail? What happens to Earth? We don't fail. Failure isn't an option. But what if? Then we fail knowing we did everything we could. That we fought for something worth fighting for. That we gave humanity every chance to survive. The fleet gathered near Earth one last time. Every combat-capable ship humanity possessed. 40,000 soldiers. The entirety of Earth's military strength committed to one desperate assault. General Daeho addressed them all via broadcast. What we attempt today has never been done. We're attacking the enemy's homeworld. Their center of power, their most defended planet. Many of you will not return. But you fight for something greater than yourselves. You fight for every human who ever lived. For every human yet to be born. The Valthine wanted war. We gave them war. Now we give them one more chance for peace. And if they refuse, we give them an ending. The fleet jumped. Kashreth Prime's defense network detected them immediately. 1,000 defensive platforms, 500 warships,